Welcome to Two Queens and a Joker, my narcissist ex and me. I'm Brenda.
I'm Sarah.
We would like to talk about why do we stay so long in these relationships? And I think we have touched on this in conversations before, but I do want to focus a little bit more on the impact of the kids, both the reason why we stay long and perhaps the reason we leave, and all that goes
Don't
with
leave.
that or don't leave. Yeah, very good point. You've told your story a little bit, I mean, in little bits and pieces, not a little bit. We've talked a lot, but in little bits and pieces of kind of how, your son really kind of was seeing things for what they were as he got older and really started talking to you about it. And that was motivation, right?
Definitely. When he came to me, and actually he did, and then that both the kids came, and then like, okay, they're seeing it, they're witnessing what's going on. It's affecting their mental health.
Mm,
Now I need to do something. And then in that like in the same meeting that our family get together, whatever, we talk. I learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know he was doing to the children.
mm,
It opened our communication.
yeah. Oh, that must have been the hardest conversation of your whole life.
It was devastating because I knew, like, he was doing it to me, but it never have I seen him go to extremes when he's yelling at the kid like something's broken or, yes.
Mm,
Have I seen him spank the kids? Yes. But what they were telling me was going on, I had no idea. I no, because like, when me and the Joker would fight or whatever, and in the heat of the moment, I'm going, "I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna take the kids and we're gonna leave." And then, he'd go to the kids and say, "Mom's gonna break up the family, and what are
my
we gonna
gosh.
do?" And so and he'd be like, "I'm the good loving dad. Remember I bought you those toys or I bought you that candy. Mom's trying to take you," kind of thing. And the kids would be like, "Mom, don't break up the family," because they're little, and just like
Yeah.
as they got older, they were able to recognize, and then they felt comfortable enough to come and talk to me about what was going on with them.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. I when it was just when I thought it was mainly me, I thought to myself, "I don't wanna break up the family. He's good to the children. He loves his children," you know? And I've we're been told so many times that we're too emotional. I don't know what I'm saying. Um I'm crazy to feel that way. I don't understand why you're so upset with me, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
that you start doubting. So, you're like, "Okay, maybe I'm shouldn't be upset that he's a lying sack of shit, or I shouldn't be upset that he took out money and now we can't pay the mortgage. I'm overreacting."
Yeah.
Y You're pigeonholed into this because it's fed to you so often and
Yeah.
often. I think, we stay.
Yeah, it just chips away at you.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, no self-esteem. I had no self-esteem.
Yeah.
Eventually I came to the point where I wasn't talking to my mom that much. I wasn't talking to my stepmom. I wasn't really talking to my dad. I didn't talk to my brothers and, you know, other family. It was centered around him and his family.
Mhm.
He would be able to, like, when my mom and I would start talking again, like, find something to nitpick about it, or, "I can't believe that you forgave her for saying this or that," and I'm just like,
Jeez.
"Okay."
Yeah.
So, it took a lot to learn for me to become strong enough to say, "No, I love my mom, I love my stepmom, I love my dad, I love my brothers, and I want them in my life."
Yeah. You know, as I started doing this kind of work as a therapist, working with clients around this, that was one of the first things that I started noticing the similarity of, what people telling me their stories and me going, wait, that sounds, are they dating my ex? And, it's true. I literally used to think that, but it was that isolation. And now, many years later, I know that that is a typical narcissistic thing to do. They all do that. They try to isolate their victims. Probably all abusers try to isolate their victims, right? But
Definitely.
yeah. That was one of the first things that was like, "Oh, he did that to me too." I mean, my parents were the worst people on the planet. He didn't want me to, and my brother, he couldn't stand, same thing. My friends weren't good enough until I had no friends, and yeah,
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
Your friends are they're trying to take you away from your family. You shouldn't go out with your friends tonight, your kids need you, you know?
Yeah.
He could go out, he can do what he wanted to do, but if I would try and I when I say I would go out, if I would go out, I would, like, ask permission once every 3 or 4 months to go
Mm,
for a couple hours or, like, to a work dinner. And
yeah.
no, "Oh, the kids need you tonight," and, "Oh, we just need to do a family stuff." No, you don't need to do that.
Yeah,
You don't recognize it because you're in the pattern. You are in that pattern already, and
definitely.
unfortunately, it took me a long time
Yeah.
to recognize that, I have nobody. I'm isolated in the house. My kids are isolated in the house. I feel bad for my oldest son because I didn't want him inviting friends over
Mm,
if they saw what was going on because that's scary, you know what I mean? Or when it was, like, really, really bad with him, the Joker, like, I don't want anybody witnessing, you know, his downfall of going from a firefighter to this heroin junkie with teeth problems, withering away, not taking his medication, not giving a shit about anything other than the other junkies and drugs.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, you kinda the kids and I were close, like, we had each other but he, like, kinda didn't ha he's not getting the same childhood that now Nunez is getting because she gets to have people over. She gets to invite friends, and she gets to have them spend a couple nights, and I'm
Yeah.
all for it. I'm like, "Everybody, they can come here. I'd rather people come here," you know? So, he feels kind of, like he missed that part.
That's an interesting thing to think about is, because people who are raised by narcissistic parents, there's so much that happens that they do miss out on. And we've talked about this with your son too, like even his physical development and what the stress did to him, but the missing out on things like that, having a supportive parent at a baseball game. I mean, all of that stuff that kids need to be able to enjoy in their childhood. It's
Yeah.
tragic. Did they when they came to you and that first time when you had, like, the family meeting, I mean, were they how and I'm trying not to say is were they angry with you?
The first initial sit down, because 'cause we've had many, they were not angry at me. They were hurt. They
Mm,
were more scared about our situation, and
okay.
they wanted to encourage me and tell me, "Mom, you are strong enough.
Yeah.
You can get away from this person who's hurting us as well as hurting you. You might
Mhm.
not think you can, but we're telling you, you can." And that was that little push that I
Yeah.
needed. No, I don't
Yeah.
think I would have listened to anybody else. I don't think
Really?
but them sometimes even now, like, they can get upset and they're like, "You should have protected me. You should have known. You should have." And I said, "Absolutely, I should have. Abso-fucking-lutely, I should have. And I can't apologize enough." You try to explain, "Look at we were all living under this abusive son of a bitch, and we were all trying to hide our pain and our hurt
Yeah.
from each other, me and the 2 kids. We didn't want each other to know what was going on.
Yeah. That
Didn't
makes
want
sense.
to inflict more pain on each other."
Mhm.
And I worked a lot. I did because, he started slipping from work, the
Yeah.
Joker, getting reprimanded. He'd have to take a couple of shifts off or whatever, and then, like, get a big reprimand. He's, like, got a month off without pay. I blame myself. I understand I shouldn't blame myself because I f if I didn't have to do all that working, taking so much call, I might. I can't say that I 100% because I didn't. I might have seen what was going on with the children.
Yeah.
I felt like I was blindsided when the kids sat me down and told me how much worse it really was.
So when you first told me about what the kids told you and just what they've experienced that you didn't know about, I could not have been more surprised because my experience with the Joker is that he's worshiped the kids. My kids, your kids, first kid, right? That I was shocked to hear that he would be so abusive. And I know him very well, right? Like so for you to not see it is absolutely, I can understand how that happened because we've all been under the spell of the lies, right? So,
Well, and I'm sure, like, he would try to hide it so much more what he did to the kids when I got home,
of
'cause,
course.
mama bears
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
pretty vicious, and so, like, I remember him or Chu saying, well, he would sit us down after one of his explosions and, say, "Don't tell mom. I'll get you guys this," or, "We'll go do this.
My gosh.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I love you. Don't hate me. It's, I grew up badly," giving every excuse of why what he did to them wasn't his fault again,
So no
so
real apology.
they can't be upset,
Yeah.
basically.
Right. And then he's the victim and they feel sorry for him. Yeah. What a bunch of bullshit.
Really good at turning the story to make him the victim
Yeah.
in any situation.
Definitely. Definitely. And he only honed that skill better as he got older, as they do. But I saw him get better and better at that over time.
You mentioned about, like, my kids, have they been angry? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Still, like, was it last week? I think it was this weekend. Like, I had a nightmare that he broke into the house, tied up me and the kids, and told me I had to choose one. And I'm like, "What do you mean choose one?" He's like, "You
Oh,
choose one that lives and you choose one that dies." I'm like,
that's
Why would you
horrible.
want me to do that? Why there are children, why would you want me to do?" He's like, "Because I'm gonna hurt you and you're gonna do it."
Oh my god, Sarah, that's like a
I
horror
just
movie.
oh,
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That is
that's the second
horrendous.
time I've had that one. So, it scares me 'cause, yeah, I mean, you just never know what someone's thinking.
Mhm. Well, you really don't, and I think he's proven to both of us that he's capable of so much more than we could have imagined, and after learning the stories you learned about your kids, and honestly, some of the stuff that's come up just since we've been talking,
Yeah,
he
even I mean, afterwards, like, after he was out of, this property, learning all the fucking crap he was doing still. I mean, he had gone to, oh, I'm gonna not Wisconsin, I can't remember what state he went to for reco
Maryland or
thank
something,
you,
right?
Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was there for 30 or 45 days,
Mhm.
you know, and then I was no contact at that time, me and the kids are no contact, so I'm hearing from people calling me going, "Dude, is he homeless?" And I'm like, "I seriously, guys, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything." And they'd be like, you might wanna come in down to Santee because he's just walking around Santee babbling and I'm like, "I don't know, and that I will not be doing that. I'm sorry." I'm like, "You guys are his friends.
Yeah, "Why are you calling me?"
Go. Go help him." I've tried and tried and tried. First, he didn't want it. Second, he didn't accept it, you know?
Mm,
No, we're not putting myself or my children through that again.
no. He had ample opportunity to have help from you, and then from me after all this
Yes.
happened, I tried to help him,
Yes, you
but
did.
did I ever tell you about the Lowe's parking lot and the sheds in Santee? Did I not?
I don't think
We were in Santee for some reason, and I don't know, but we were driving and we were going by the Lowe's, the Lowe's there, and I was sure I saw the Joker walking. And I was like, "No, why would he be walking around Santee?" And it's dark out and it was cold. I turned around and I went back to see if it was him, and there were all those sheds. You know how they leave the sheds in the
yeah.
parking lot? He disappeared, and I was convinced that he was staying in one of those sheds. And now that you said wandering around in Santee, it makes me think that that is what I saw. But see, still doubting myself. I know it was him I saw. I know how he walks. I know what he looks like, right? I knew it was him.
Yeah, and, like, Choo Choo saw him at when Walmart was still at Parkway Mall,
Yeah.
like, he was buying stuff, and thank goodness he didn't recognize Choo. So but, yeah, and he was still hanging out, and then after recovery, after he's supposed to be all well and good, still hanging out with the same group of people, you
Yeah,
know?
but he wasn't in walking distance of being, at Lowe's, or Santee wouldn't have been an easy place for him to be. So he made a choice. He came back and then chose to go back and hang out with all of his scumbag friends.
Yeah, see, I had no idea where he came back as soon as that restraining order was placed and put into effect,
Mhm.
other than when the therapist, Maryland, called me and said it was my job to take care of him. And I'm like, "This man is manipulating you." I
Yeah.
said his name.
That's
"This man
okay.
is
Get it out.
manipulating you because this man knows there's a restraining order."
Mhm.
You had texted me and said, "Hey, does the Joker have any clothes or anything there?" And I responded, I'm like, "Yes. Unfortunately, they're all in the garage covered in piss and shit and needles and all that kind of stuff, which I'm not gonna go touch, but if you wanna come." Yeah, I'm like, "No." And still, to this day, that's where they are. And ordered it was ordered with the first the temporary restraining order at first. He was told, "You have 1 trip to come pick it up, call the sheriffs." Didn't do that. When we had another hearing later, not about the restraining order, about his criminal
Mm.
just judge saying, "I need to pick my stuff up at my house." And she looked at me. I said, "There's absolutely not a problem. All you gotta clear with the sheriff's department if I'm not and make it after I'm not taking a day off of work because I can't afford
Mhm.
it." I said, "Absolutely." And then he said it again like a couple months later to the judge, and the same thing. I'm like, "Anytime. Call him up. Let me know. Just let
Mhm.
me know because I don't want the kids at the house. You no. You go get your stuff and that's fine." Did he follow through? No. Was he instructed to follow through 3 or 4 different times? Yes. But still, here we are, 2026 now, and this 2021 when the restraining order was put into effect,
Yeah.
and the stuff is still here. We can't
Yeah.
take care of that stuff, we can't move this stuff, we can't do upgrades on the little garage or fix anything out in the big garage because his stuff is there, and I was told we're not allowed to touch it, we're not allowed to move it, we're not allowed to do any of that kind of stuff because then we would be charged.
It's just, he didn't if he wanted it, he would have come to get it. That's not
Yeah,
what he
I mean,
wants.
there can't be anything in there now after this long that's any good.
Of course not. It's all rotted, I'm sure, but it's not what he wants. He wants access to you and the kids.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, he's disgusting.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
so dis
like he said in one of the hearings, "Well, I have stuff inside the house," and the man has nothing inside the house.
Mm.
He took all his clothes out to the garage. He took all his jewelry, sunglasses, clothes, all his stuff was outside. The only thing that I kept inside was I went out there and got his dress uniform
Mm.
because it was literally just laying on the floor out there. Brought it inside and I hung it up.
Mm.
The only thing that I have touched, and I did it for him, which, you
That's
know,
part of it though, right? I mean, still thinking.
I mean, that's something that you would think that he would, at least I think that he would want later. Yeah, okay, yes, I'm a dumbass and a shitbag now, but one time I was a productive adult, you know,
Mhm.
and I
Right.
want him to look at that. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you would think, but he threw everything away. People, belongings, everything got thrown away. Yeah. Okay, so it's I think given what the kids did with you, like giving you the strength, giving you just a real picture of what was going on for them. I mean, I think that took a lot of courage, but I also think that it's been like kind of miraculous for the three of you because you guys have now you're in this recovery together, and I see that when we talk and when we're together, it's you are a team. Yeah, I mean, I think that's an
yeah,
ideal situation.
we hold each other together. We hold each other accountable. Nobody's perfect. We all mess up, and we aren't afraid to let the other, hey, you got to messed up there.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of that because you can have that conversation. We can communicate with it.
Mhm.
Might be crying involved,
Yes. Yeah,
but
as happens.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I have never really I left because of my kids too, and they were so young, but it was the instability, and I mean, he was always violent too, we've talked about that, but it was the instability and me moving to Colorado and him trying to kick and not let me back in the house, where it's like, "You're not doing that to us. The 3 of us are out in the cold," quite literally, and that's not happening, and that was when I finally left him too, but it took a gazillion times. Yeah. Ugh.
If
Yeah,
you're
okay.
we're stuck in that cycle.
Yeah, right, yeah, right. I mean, there's so many reasons it's just in our minds to stay, right? I've mentioned that before too, like, I already had a child with somebody else, and I wasn't gonna leave now I have another child with him as the father. I felt like I needed to make that work no matter what, and that was what really compelled me to stay for as long as I did until he took my
Yeah,
house key.
like, I think our era was, raised on keep the family together.
Mhm.
Keep it together. That's what we're taught. That's what, my God, if I get a divorce or leave, I'm not a good person.
Yeah.
Horrible. I'm breaking up our family unit. I'm destroying the family.
Mhm.
And I thank God now, that it's becoming more prevalent for people to realize that don't stay for the kids. If you're
No.
in a bad relationship, and be it abusive, be it a narcissist, be it just it's not good for your health,
No.
you know,
Really?
leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just leave. You don't have to justify it to anybody.
No, certainly not. Certainly not.
And I
Yeah,
can
and
get and my kids will tell you, do not stay for the children.
I was just gonna say something like that.
They see it, they know. And children were little. They're little absorbent sponges.
Mhm.
They're little, yes, they can their opinions can be swayed by Mr. Suave and
Yeah.
fancy talker and buys toys and chocolate,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, and don't listen to mom's no, you don't need to do your homework, you don't need to do that kind of stuff. But as they do, they get older and they see. They
They
do.
do.
So,
Yeah. Well, I think I've told you one time when Ian was gonna come out here to see him, and I told him he didn't have to go if he didn't want to, and he's like, "No, I'm gonna get him for everything I can." Some version of that, but he was like, "No, I'm gonna go to Disneyland, and he's gonna buy me a video game." Like, he knew what was going on. So, you're absolutely right.
also, like, stay 'cause they don't think they can make it on their own with their children. There's like, money, their
Absolutely.
time, you know, you got small kids, they're in school. If you work full time, you're gonna need before school
Oh,
care or
yeah.
care. How do I get my kids to and from, Oh my god, how am I gonna feed them every day? How am I gonna make sure they have clothes and shoes that fit?
Oh, yeah.
I can't do that on my own, there's no way.
Mm-mm. No.
Like, pressed into our being as a mom.
Well, and it's really true for some of us, right? I
Yes.
mean, it's not feasible to go on a one income family, single parent family. Yeah.
If I didn't have my mom and my stepmom and my dad, I don't think we would be where we are now.
Yeah.
I relied on them heavily for helping me take care of bills, and being my mental support.
Yeah. Well, thank God they were able to do that.
'Cause, oh my gosh, and then, them just saying, "It's okay. Take a breath. You're fine." Just having somebody to be able to just take a breath. You're okay.
Mhm.
You got this. Just somebody saying, "You got this," can change somebody's day.
Absolutely.
'Cause we feel like, "Oh my god, it's a constant battle. We're struggling. Oh my god, how am I gonna do this for my family?" And
Mhm.
it's always negative, like negative, negative, negative. And then you
So
get
much.
this person who loves you and adores you saying, "You got this.
Yeah.
You can do it." And that
Yeah.
can you flip the situation.
And it can make all the difference. It really can.
And the people that don't have that family option, there are so many sites now. There's so many women's shelters. There's so many things out there now that are actually realizing what we are going through.
Mhm.
That we can't leave this person because we won't survive.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
there. Yes, you will. It's gonna be hard at first, absolutely,
But
but
it's
you
hard right now.
will be safe.
Yes.
We'll be able to help you with food. You can stay in this place or in our shelter. We will help you if you don't have a job at that time, we'll help you get a job,
Mhm.
show you the tools you need to be able to survive on your own.
Absolutely, and they usually have legal help too,
Yeah,
so they're out there, and then our support group, just having the connection with other people that have experienced it is incredible, and as you mentioned before, just being isolated from the friends that you maybe had when you came into this relationship, it's possible to build up your support group again. It's not a life sentence to not have friends anymore.
I found it really hard to reconnect with my old friends because
Mhm.
they felt like I had cut them off, you
Yeah.
know? So their feelings were hurt, and at that time, I wasn't into sharing what was going on,
Mhm.
stuff, so I apologize. I couldn't give them a reason, so I have to say that most of those friendships went by the wayside, which is very sad.
Yeah.
But the thing with life is you can build more friendships.
Mhm.
And, you're
Hi,
making
Sarah.
family now.
Yep.
You put yourself out there and you try. And pull yourself back when you meet a scumbag or a person that you don't wanna be friends with. You don't have to.
Yes.
You have
Trust your
that option.
intuition.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Once again, Brenda and I would like to thank you guys for listening. We would appreciate any questions. Give us any subjects you guys would like to talk about. If you want to interact with us, we would love that too. Again, thank you for listening to our podcast, and we love each and every one of you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.